My own daughter locked me in a closet for 3 days with nothing but a bucket and a bottle of water, while she and her worthless husband emptied my bank accounts and forged my signature to steal my house. But here's what they didn't know. I had a hidden camera. I had a backup plan, and I had $340,000 worth of pure, legal revenge waiting for them. My name is Barbara Jean Mitchell. I'm 76 years old, and this is the story of how my daughter tried to bury me alive and how I buried her instead. Buckle up, because this gets dark before it gets good. Let me paint you a picture of who I used to be. I'm talking about before everything went to hell. I was Barbara Jean Mitchell, a proud woman who worked her fingers to the bone for 40 years as a nurse at County General Hospital in Des Moines, Iowa. I raised 3 kids on my own after my husband Frank died of a heart attack when I was just 42 years old. I wasn't rich, but I was smart with money. I saved every penny I could. I worked double shifts. I invested in a small house that I paid off by the time I was 55. By the time I retired at 68, I had $280,000 in savings, a paid-off house worth about $220,000, and a decent pension. I had 3 children. Robert, my oldest, living in Seattle, doing well for himself. Michael, my middle son, a teacher in Chicago with a beautiful family. And then there was Christine, my baby girl, my youngest, the one I loved maybe a little too much. Christine was always the troubled one. Dropped out of college, terrible with money, married a man named Derek who made my skin crawl from day one. But she was my daughter, so I helped them over and over and over again. I gave them $15,000 for a down payment on a house. I co-signed loans I shouldn't have. I bailed Derek out of jail twice for drunk driving. I watched their kids when they wanted to party. I was the safety net they kept jumping into. And you know what? I didn't mind. That's what mothers do, right? We sacrifice. We give. We love unconditionally. What a fool I was. It started small, like poison always does. In 2022, when I was 74, I had a small stroke. Nothing major, the doctor said, but it scared me. It scared my kids, too. Robert and Michael called every day checking on me. But Christine, she moved fast. "Mom, you can't live alone anymore," she said, sitting in my hospital room with those fake concerned eyes. "What if something happens and nobody's there? You could die." "I'm fine, Christine. The doctor said—" "The doctors don't know everything. Derek and I have been talking. You should move in with us. We have that spare bedroom. We can take care of you." Red flags should have been waving, but I was scared. I was lonely, and she was my daughter. "I don't want to be a burden," I said. "You could never be a burden, Mama. We want to help. Besides, we could use some help with the bills. Maybe you could contribute a little bit for room and board, just until we get back on our feet." There it was, the first hook in my mouth. I sold my house. The house I'd worked 13 years to pay off. I sold it for $220,000 and moved into Christine and Derek's place with a check for $50,000 as my contribution to their household. I thought I was being generous. I thought I was helping my struggling daughter. I was signing my own death warrant. The first month was okay. They treated me decent. I had my own room. I cooked meals. I helped with my grandkids. I was useful. Then The mask started slipping. It began with small cruelties. Christine stopped asking me how I was feeling. Derek started making comments. "You're eating a lot for an old woman who doesn't do anything all day. Could you stop making so much noise in the morning? Some of us actually work for a living. When's the last time you contributed anything besides taking up space?" My room got smaller, literally. They moved me from the guest bedroom to a tiny room in the basement. No window, concrete walls, a bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. "It's just temporary, Mom," Christine said, "until we can afford to finish the basement properly." The food got worse. They started giving me leftovers, sometimes nothing at all. "We're on a tight budget, Mom, you understand." But I'd see them ordering DoorDash, buying new TVs. Derek got a brand new truck. Where was my $50,000 going? When I asked, Derek exploded. "You ungrateful old bitch, we're keeping a roof over your head. We're feeding you, and you have the nerve to question us?" Christine just watched, said nothing. My baby girl, who I'd rocked to sleep 1,000 times, just stood there while her husband called me a bitch. That's when I knew I was in trouble. By month 6, I was basically a prisoner. They took my phone. "You're spending too much time bothering Robert and Michael," Christine said. "They have their own lives, Mom." They took my medications and started controlling them, giving me pills when they felt like it. They took my bank statements. "We'll handle your finances now, Mom. You're too old to manage money." I tried to leave once, packed a bag and walked to the front door. Derek grabbed my arm so hard it left bruises. "Where do you think you're going, old woman?" "I'm leaving. This isn't right. I want to go to Robert's house." He laughed, a cold, cruel laugh. "You're not going anywhere. You signed papers, remember? Medical power of attorney, financial power of attorney. You're incompetent, officially. If you try to leave, we'll have you committed to a psych ward." "I never signed those papers." "Sure you did," Christine said, pulling out documents with my signature. Except I'd never seen those documents before in my life. They'd forged my signature. I was trapped. It got worse. So much worse. They started locking me in my basement room at night. I'd hear the deadbolt slide. I'd bang on the door. Nobody came. They fed me once a day, sometimes not even that. I lost 30 pounds in 3 months. My sons tried to call. Christine told them I didn't want to talk to them anymore, that I was getting forgetful and confused, and it was better if they didn't upset me. Then came the day that changed everything. March 15th, 2024. I'll never forget it. Christine came to my room with Derek. They looked nervous, excited, guilty. "Mom, we need you to sign some papers." It was paperwork to transfer my house sale money, the remaining $230,000 I had in the bank, into a joint account with Christine. "No," I said. "Absolutely not." Derek's face went dark. "Sign the papers, old woman." "No. I want to call Robert. I want to call Michael. I want to leave." That's when Derek grabbed me, dragged me across the basement, opened a storage closet maybe 4 feet by 6 feet, and threw me inside. "You'll stay here until you're ready to cooperate," he said. They locked the door. I was in that closet for 3 days. 3 days. There was a bucket for a toilet, 1 bottle of water, no food, no light except what came under the door crack. I could hear them upstairs, laughing, watching TV, living their lives while I sat in my own waste in a closet. I thought I was going to die there. But then something inside me snapped. I got angry. Really, truly angry. Here's what Christine and Derek didn't know. I wasn't senile. I wasn't incompetent. I was a nurse for 40 years. I dealt with emergencies, with difficult people, with life and death situations. I knew how to think under pressure. And I'd been preparing. 2 months before the closet incident, when things started getting really bad, I'd managed to sneak my phone back for one day while they were at work. I called Robert, told him everything. "Mom, we're coming to get you right now," he said. "No, not yet. They'll just claim I'm confused. They have forged documents. We need proof." Robert understood. He overnighted me something in a package labeled medical supplies that Christine didn't bother opening. Inside was a tiny spy camera, battery-powered, motion-activated, the kind people use for nanny cams. I hid it in my room, in the air vent, pointing at the door. That camera recorded everything. Every cruel word, every denied meal, every lock of the door, Derek throwing me in the closet, Christine's cold indifference, my begging, their laughing, everything. The camera uploaded to a cloud storage that Robert had access to. He was watching, he was documenting, he was building a case, and he was calling the police. 4 days after I signed those papers, 4 days of being locked in that room, I heard sirens. Loud, multiple vehicles. Then pounding on the door. "Police, open up!" I heard Christine and Derek panicking upstairs, yelling, running around. Then I heard the most beautiful sound of my life. "Clear the rooms! Find the victim!" Heavy footsteps on the stairs. Someone trying my door. "Locked! We need a ram!" One hit, and the door flew open. 2 police officers and a paramedic stood there, staring at me, at the concrete room, the bucket, the bare mattress, my skeletal frame. "Ma'am, are you Barbara Mitchell?" I nodded, too weak to speak. "You're safe now. You're safe." They carried me out on a stretcher. I saw Christine and Derek in handcuffs in the living room. Christine was crying. Derek was screaming about rights and lawyers. I looked Christine dead in the eyes as they carried me past. She looked away. My baby girl couldn't even look at me. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital recovering from severe malnutrition, dehydration, and what the doctors called complex trauma from elder abuse. Robert and Michael flew in immediately. They hadn't seen me in months. Christine had been blocking their visits, telling them I didn't want to see them. When Robert walked into my hospital room and saw me, 76 years old, 98 pounds, with bruises up and down my arms, he broke down crying. "Mom, I'm so sorry. We should have come sooner. We should have known." "You couldn't have known, honey. She's a good liar. She learned from the best. She learned from me." I meant her father, may he rest in peace, who could charm the skin off a snake. The police showed me the evidence they'd collected. The forged documents, my emptied bank accounts, $230,000 transferred to Christine and Derek's account. Property transfer papers that would have put my house sale money entirely in their names. But the most damaging evidence? My camera footage. The detective played some of it for me. I could barely watch. "Mrs. Mitchell, this is one of the worst cases of elder abuse we've seen in this county. Your daughter and son-in-law are facing serious charges: kidnapping, false imprisonment, forgery, financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult, elder abuse. The DA is pushing for maximum sentences." "Good," I said, and I meant it. The criminal case moved fast, with video evidence, forged documents, medical records showing my condition, and bank records showing the theft. The prosecution had an airtight case. Christine tried to claim I was mentally incompetent and had given consent, but 3 separate doctors evaluated me and confirmed I was perfectly lucid and had been all along. Derek tried to claim it was all Christine's idea. She tried to claim it was all his idea. They turned on each other like rats on a sinking ship. The judge wasn't having any of it. Christine got 12 years in prison. Derek got 15 years. But that was just the criminal case. The civil case? That's where I got my revenge. I sued them for everything: financial exploitation, false imprisonment, emotional distress, pain and suffering. My lawyer was a shark named Jennifer Goldstein. She took my case on contingency because, and I quote, "anyone who locks a 76-year-old woman in a closet deserves to lose everything." We won $340,000 in damages. Plus, they had to return every penny they'd stolen from me, all $230,000. Plus, their house was seized to pay the judgment. Plus all of Derek's assets: his truck, his tools, his precious big screen TV. Everything. They were left with nothing, less than nothing. They'd have debt when they got out of prison. And me? I got my money back. All of it. Plus damages, plus the satisfaction of knowing they'd spend over a decade behind bars thinking about what they did. I'm 76 years old now. I live in a beautiful assisted living community in Seattle near Robert. It's my choice. Nobody forced me. Nobody locked me anywhere. I have my own apartment, my own money, my own life. Robert visits twice a week. Michael flies in once a month. My grandkids come see me. I'm not isolated. I'm not alone. I'm free. Christine sends me letters from prison. I don't open them. I don't read them. I don't care what she has to say. Some people think that makes me cold, that I should forgive her. She's my daughter after all. But here's what I learned. DNA doesn't excuse cruelty. Being family doesn't give you the right to abuse someone. Love has limits, and mine were reached the day she locked me in that closet. Do I miss my daughter? Sometimes. I miss the little girl she used to be, the one who'd climb into my lap and fall asleep, the one who'd make me dandelion crowns in the backyard. But that girl is gone, if she ever really existed at all. The woman who put me in that closet, she's a stranger, a dangerous stranger, and she's right where she belongs. So what's the lesson here? What do I want people to take away from my nightmare? First, elder abuse is real. It's happening right now in houses all over America. Someone's grandmother, someone's grandfather is being starved, beaten, robbed, imprisoned by the people who are supposed to love them. If you suspect it, report it. Don't wait. Don't assume someone else will help. Be the person who makes the call. Second, never give anyone complete control over your life. I don't care if it's your child, your spouse, your best friend. Keep your own bank account. Keep your own phone. Keep your own connections to the outside world. The moment you give up all your power, you become vulnerable. Third, trust your instincts. I knew something was wrong from the beginning. Derek gave me bad vibes from day one, but I ignored it because I wanted to believe my daughter loved me. Listen to that voice in your head that says, something's not right. That voice is trying to save you. Fourth, Document everything. If I hadn't hidden that camera, it would have been my word against theirs. I'd be in a nursing home somewhere, labeled as confused and difficult. Evidence is everything. Keep records, take photos, tell people what's happening. Fifth, family isn't just blood. Family is who shows up for you. Robert and Michael showed up. They fought for me. Christine had my DNA, but she wasn't family, not where it mattered. And finally, it's never too late to fight back. I was 76 years old, locked in a closet, weighing 98 pounds, and I still found a way to take them down. You are never too old, too weak, or too powerless to seek justice. Never. People ask me if I'm bitter, if I'm angry, if I'm sad. Honestly, I'm none of those things. I'm grateful. Grateful I survived. Grateful I had sons who loved me enough to fight for me. Grateful I live in a country where elder abuse is taken seriously and prosecuted. Grateful I got justice. Could things have been different? Sure. I wish Christine had been the daughter I thought she was. I wish Derek had never existed. I wish I'd never sold my house and moved in with them. But wishes don't change reality. The reality is that I was abused by my own child. I was locked in a closet like an animal. I was starved and humiliated and robbed. But I survived. And not only did I survive, I won. I got every penny back. I got them convicted. I got justice. And now I'm living my best life in my own place with people who actually care about me, while Christine and Derek sit in prison cells thinking about their choices. That's not bitterness. That's not revenge. That's justice. My name is Barbara Jean Mitchell. I'm 76 years old. I was locked in a closet by my daughter and left to die. But I didn't die. I fought back and I won. And if you're out there suffering elder abuse, feeling helpless, thinking nobody cares, I want you to know someone cares. Help exists. Justice is possible. Don't give up. Fight back. Document everything. Tell someone. Call the Adult Protective Services. Call the police. Call a trusted friend or family member. Because you deserve better. You deserve dignity. You deserve justice. And sometimes the best revenge is simply surviving and making sure the people who hurt you face the consequences of their actions. That's my story. That's my truth. That's my justice. And you know what? It feels damn good.